If you're a real estate agent sick and tired of burning your money on Facebook ads that don't convert, then you need to watch this entire video. That's because whether you're not getting enough leads or the quality of your leads is just terrible and you're getting a bunch of tire kickers who aren't even interested in buying or selling a house that say things like, "Who are you? Why are you calling me?" Maybe they have extremely long timelines, or they just aren't even in a position where they could even afford a house in your market. No matter the case, whether it's lack of quality or quantity, in this video, I'm going to be explaining the 8 split testing phases that you need to be doing to completely fix your ads and actually have high quality lead flow coming through on a consistent basis. So with that being said, let's dive in. And real quick, if you want this exact doc so you can reference it moving forward, or if you're currently working with a marketing agency and you're not getting the lead flow or quality that you'd like, then make sure to click the first link in the description to download this doc for completely free and either use it yourself or send it off to whoever's doing your marketing and make sure they actually implement it. Now that that's cleared, let's get into it. As you can see right here, we have 2 primary split testing phases, and that is quantitative and qualitative split tests. And I'll get into the difference in a second. And then for each of those, we have 4 main phases. So first off, quantitative split testing is going to be things that affect the actual lead flow. So the number of leads that come through, and qualitative split tests are going to affect the quality of the leads. So if you're not getting a lot of leads, then make sure you're paying attention to the quantitative split tests. And if your lead quality is suffering, then make sure to pay attention here. But they are all important. And essentially how they're all broken up is going to be into 4 phases. And yes, the order of these phases do matter. For example, the actual creative of your ad, so that's either going to be an image or video, is going to make a lot bigger impact than, let's say, the body copy of your ad. And that's because if your creative sucks, nobody's going to even stop and actually click on it to read the rest of the copy. And that brings us to our first quantitative split testing phase, which is phase 1. And that is going to be split testing ad creatives. Now, there are a lot of ways to go about this, so make sure you pay attention. So as you can see right here, you can use video ads. You can use different types of creatives. So some examples of that is going to be home collages, home exteriors, home interiors. That can be living rooms, kitchens, an aerial view of houses, map image ads, AI generated images, and many, many more. And then there's also going to be creative details. So this is different than different types of creatives. This is more so going to be actual variations of the images. So for example, having a banner versus no banner, having different words on the banner, having the location / market call out of whatever area you service versus having the actual offer on the banner, different banner colors, different emojis versus no emojis, and also having your face / body shot on an ad. All of these things, despite how minuscule they seem, make a huge difference in performance, and testing is the only way you're going to know what actually works in your market. So if right now you're not getting as many leads as you want, or you're working with an agency and they aren't bringing you as many leads as you want, then you need to make sure that they're testing as much as possible, because I see it all the time. Realtors will come to me and say, ads don't work. I tried ads, they don't work. I didn't get leads, whatever it may be. And then meanwhile, they threw up 1 or 2 images. Maybe they tested 3 if they're lucky. However, to actually ensure that your ads are successful, you can't be testing 2 images, 3 images, maybe a video, 2 videos. You need to be doing 10, 20, 30. And of course, this is going to be periodically over time, depending on your actual ad budget. But nevertheless, you need to be testing more. Now, once again, creative is going to be the most important thing when it comes to quantitative testing. But after you test creatives, you find a winning creative, the next phase is going to be split testing audiences. So this is going to be very, very simple. This is essentially going to be interest-based targeting versus open targeting. And for reference, I'll pop up on the screen what some interests that you can target for real estate are. And then open targeting is essentially no targeting whatsoever, meaning you're just leaving it completely up to Facebook's algorithm, completely broad, to show your ads to your ideal client. And surprisingly, there are a lot of times where open targeting actually works better than interest targeting, because I'm pretty sure you know, Meta knows just about everything about everyone. So as long as your creative and copy and headlines are calling out to your ideal client, they actually do a very, very good job of showing it to your ideal prospect. But once again, that is something you want to test. Now, moving on to phase 3, that's going to be split testing headlines. Now, headlines are the most important thing when it comes to copy. I know a lot of people like to focus on the body copy, try different long form versus short form versus this versus that. But if your headline isn't spot on, it's not even going to matter, because the headline is the first bit of copy that everyone sees when scrolling. And as you know, nowadays we are in a TikTok attention deficit economy where now everyone's attention span is 0.5 seconds. So if you don't catch their attention, if you don't call out to your ideal client in the first little line of text, then they are not going to click on your ad and even see the rest of the copy. So when it comes to split testing headlines, there's multiple ways to go about it. You can go direct to your offer, a surprising type headline, a curiosity-based headline, a fear-based headline, etc. And last but not least, once you've found your winning headline, we can then split test the actual ad copy. So there's two main things you're going to be split testing when it comes to copy, and that's the length of the copy, which can either be short form copy or long form copy. And then there's also the actual content of the copy. And when it comes to the actual content in your copy and how it's structured, there's either going to be direct copy or storytelling copy. Direct copy is going to be straight to the point. If you're this person, then here's my offer for you. Click the learn more button below. And storytelling copy is a little bit more advanced. I will show some examples on the screen right now of what that can look like. And within that copy, there's also going to be something that has an impact that you may not realize, but that's going to be emojis versus no emojis. So once again, this is all something to test. Sometimes depending on your market, depending on your ideal client, emojis versus no emojis will have a different impact on the actual conversion of your ads. So once again, it's all something to test. And that essentially covers the 4 phases of quantitative split testing. Once again, first you want to split test the ad creatives, then you want to split test the audiences, then the headlines, then last but not least, the copy. And by the way, if right now you're sitting here saying, James, this looks like so much work, this is so much to split test, I thought I could just throw up an ad and just have it be successful. Unfortunately, that's usually not the case, and that's also why a lot of realtors fail when it comes to paid advertising. Same with certain marketing agencies, although with agencies, a lot of the times they focus on quantitative and not qualitative. So I'll be getting to that in a second, where you can get a lot of leads, but the quality is low. So that said, let's jump in to the qualitative split tests. Now, starting off with phase 1, this is going to be the biggest lever you can pull. This is the most important thing to test, and that is going to be your offer/lead magnet. Now, when running ads, you always want to have some sort of offer or lead magnet or value add that you can give to a prospect in order to incentivize them to actually click on your ad and give their information. So many realtors, it's really crazy when I see this, but they'll just throw up an ad or like boost their post, and it's essentially just a picture of their face, maybe their contact info, just promoting how great they are. Like, I sold X amount of volume in 2023. I'm the best realtor. If you're looking to sell your house, contact me. And honestly, there has never really been a case where I've seen those actually convert at a high rate, just because you're not providing any value to the market. So that's why you always want to take a value-based approach. And essentially a couple examples of lead magnets/offers that we can use in these ads are as following. So if you're targeting sellers and you want seller leads, here are a couple of examples below. You can run a free home valuation ad, a free seller's guide, or even a consultation to increase their home's value. Now, of course, there's many others. So depending on if you have any special offer or lead magnet or resource to offer to people, feel free to test that as well. For example, one agent that I spoke to in the past actually had an offer that if he didn't sell your home in 30 days, then he would actually buy it himself. So if you're willing to do something like that, feel free to run that. I know for him that absolutely crushed, but that's just an example of a different type of offer/lead magnet. And for buyers, if you're looking to get buyer leads, a couple good ones are a free instant list of homes, free custom list of homes. I will say custom lists usually ends up getting higher lead quality. And then you can also test a free buyer's guide or first-time home buyers guide / tips. Now keep in mind, depending on which offer or lead magnet that you use, it will have a big effect on the actual quality of your leads. For example, if you're offering just a free instant list of homes under X price, number one, if you word it that way, where it's under, let's say your median home value is $500,000 in your area, under $450K, you're now going to be attracting usually lower budget prospects. And same thing if you do, let's say, a first-time home buyers tips, things like that. A lot of the times, those people, since they've never bought in a house in the past, maybe they're not as qualified, maybe they're not pre-approved, or they can't really afford a house, whatever it may be. That's not always going to be the case. And once again, always split test in your market to really find out what hits with your ideal prospect, with your ideal market. But just realize that the actual lead magnet that you use is going to have a big effect on the actual quality of your leads, but it can also affect the quantity. So in reality, it's all about finding a balance. And just an example to drive this point home, having a consultation to increase your home's value, where now they're booking directly on your calendar, whether that's in person or over the phone, is going to be a lot bigger of a commitment versus just getting your free home valuation. However, people who opt in for a consultation to increase their home's value, likely they're a lot further along in the selling process versus finding out what your home is worth is going to be more for the beginning stages. So people who opt into that may still have a ways to go before they're actually ready to list their home. Just something to keep in mind, but once again, always test. Now moving on to phase 2, that's going to be your call out or your ideal client call out, who you're calling out to in your ads. Now this is very linked to your actual ad headline, but just for some examples, it's going to be if you call out first-time home buyers, veterans, investors, homeowners, luxury homeowners, etc. As you could see, some of these there's going to be a lot more of, others there's going to be less of. However, whoever you call out to is going to have an impact on who's opting into your ads, and some are going to be more ideal than others. For example, if you're calling out to first-time home buyers, as I mentioned before, those prospects, you might get a lot of them. However, a lot of the times they're not always going to be as ready to buy as someone who's, let's say, an investor, who they have money, they have funds. You know that in general, they're in a better position to actually buy a house quickly versus a first-time home buyer who may need to get pre-approved, get their credit fixed, etc., etc. And also keep in mind, depending on your market, your ideal clientele, or if you have any special offers, that's also going to affect your market call out. For example, if you have a special program for veterans specifically, that might be who you want to call out to. Or if you're strictly a luxury agent, then you're going to want to call out luxury homeowners or luxury home buyers so that, once again, you're weeding out anyone who's not your ideal client. That way, the person who can only spend $250,000 on a house isn't going to be opting into your ad when it's specifically calling out luxury home buyers, luxury homeowners. And the last thing to touch on in regards to who you're calling out is make sure that the actual ad creative is congruent with your call out. So for example, if you are calling out luxury homeowners or luxury home buyers, then make sure the actual image is of a luxury house and it's not a picture of a $300,000 shack. And with that being said, let's move on to phase 3, which is essentially going to be the actual lead form or landing page, and there's multiple things to split test here. For example, the actual qualification questions that you're putting on, whether it's a lead form or landing page, and that's going to be what is actually asked, the number of questions asked, and if you use conditional logic or DQs, which by the way, I did make a video on, so make sure to go check that out if you haven't already, but I'll just go through them down the line. And that is going to be, so starting with what is asked, this is going to be the actual question that you ask, which, believe it or not, has a big impact on the actual quality of your leads, of course. So for example, if you're running a buyer ad, asking something like what type of house are you looking for is a lot less invasive question than how much income you're making, or what's your credit score, or even what's your budget for a house, whatever it may be. Also, using more firm language can also have an impact on lead quality. For example, if you ask, when are you looking to buy a house? And then you have different options, let's say within 3 months, within 6 months, within 9 months, 9+ months, etc., that's going to be a lot less invasive than something like, are you looking to buy a house in the next month? Yes or no? Now, for that, once again, you may not get as many submissions. It might scare some people off, or you'll get a lot of people saying no. However, the people who say yes, once again, you're using such firm language that now the quality of those people is going to be extremely high. And another thing to touch on that is if you're now using conditional logic or essentially disqualifying people who answer unideally, and you're asking something that's firm, like, are you looking to buy in the next month? And you disqualify people who say no, now your lead quality is going to go through the roof. But keep in mind, that can also affect your lead quantity. So that's always the balance you want to be looking at. And then the number of questions, this is pretty self-explanatory, is how many questions you ask. If you ask one qualification question or no qualification questions, that's going to have a huge impact on your lead quality versus if you ask 10 questions, which of course then the lead quality is going to be much, much higher. But as I keep saying, that is going to have an impact on the actual quantity of your leads. So once again, that's the balance that you want to find out. And just for some recommendation, considering I have spent tens of thousands of dollars on real estate ads, the perfect sweet spot that I found when it comes to actual number of questions to ask is going to be anywhere from 2 to 3 qualification questions on the front end so that your lead flow doesn't suffer, but your quality is still high. And I actually made a video breaking down exactly how you can not only qualify and disqualify on the front end to have good quality leads coming through, but also how to fully qualify on the back end. And I'm talking an 8 to 10 question survey. That way you're still getting lead flow and extreme quality once again after you have their info. So feel free to check out that video, which will be linked in the description below, along with once again the download link to this doc. But moving on, there's also going to be the thank you video aspect of phase 3. And this is essentially the video that you show the prospect after they actually become a lead. Now, if you're not using a thank you video or some sort of VSL on the back end, then I don't know what you're doing. Once again, if you're working with a marketing agency, make sure that they're doing this. Make sure that they're doing this because it completely eliminates any sort of trust-based or I don't know you type objection when you actually call them. And what I mean is when calling your leads, if you ever get, who are you? Why are you calling me? I don't know who you are. I don't remember opting into this. It is because you don't have a video on the back end. And I have a whole separate video going over exactly how you should structure this video along with the actual scripting of it. But to keep things simple, essentially, it's just going to be a video introducing yourself, reaffirming that they opted into this, and also making it very clear that you're actually going to be calling them and also justifying why you're calling them so that now instead of once again getting who are you, why are you calling me, they actually expect that call from you because you've made it so clear on the video, number one, who you are, why you're going to be calling them, and just to expect a call in general. So definitely split test different types of videos. Some can be longer, some can be shorter. The biggest thing is you want people to actually be watching it so that they expect that call from you. And now moving on to phase 4, that is going to be ad placements. Now, this is actually going to be kind of a crossover, as all of them have been, where it can affect quality and quantity. However, this does actually have a big effect on quality, especially if you're using lead forms. So essentially, when it comes to ad placements, there's going to be manual placements, which when testing manual placements, I would either do feeds only or reels and stories only, or you could kind of do both. And then there's also automatic placements. This is just letting Meta take over and just show your ad wherever it sees best fit. Now, how this actually affects lead quality is because when you have automatic placements, Facebook will put the ad kind of anywhere. So in some cases, the image is cropped off. Maybe it just shows the headline or just the call to action button or whatever it may be. So some people don't fully know what they're opting into. Maybe they don't read all the copy. Maybe they don't fully see who this is specifically calling out to, and more importantly, who it's not calling out to. And they can also just make it a lot easier to fill in your form. And with all of those things, that's going to lead to lower quality versus with manual placements where it's only on a feed or only on a reel. Your ad is going to be shown fully with all of the copy, with your headline, with absolutely everything showing. If it's a video, once again, everything is going to be there. And that means that it's a lot more likely that your ideal clientele is going to be actually consuming that versus your unideal clientele who just saw an image and a call to action button. So there you have it. Those are the 8 essential split testing phases that you need to be doing if your ads are suffering, whether that's quality or quantity. Once again, all of this is extremely, extremely important if you actually want to get high quality lead flow on a consistent basis. So once again, if you're a real estate agent currently running ads, or if you're working with a marketing agency, make sure you are split testing absolutely everything. Once again, I would really, really recommend keeping this order: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. And then for qualitative, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. Once again, because that is going to be the order of importance of what affects the quantity the most and also what affects the quality the most. So yeah, hope you found this video valuable. If you did, make sure to leave a like. Also, go down in the description below and make sure to download this right now. Once again, it's completely free. Either send it off to your marketing agency or use it yourself, because split testing is the most important thing when it comes to running ads to actually see success. And shameless plug, if you are a real estate agent and you want me and my team to come into your business and build out our entire end-to-end marketing system for you, including, once again, handling all of this split testing to get you the highest lead quality on a consistent basis, then make sure to click the second link in the description and book a call to see if we're a good fit working together. If not, no worries. Just make sure to subscribe. Once again, download this doc, and I'll see you in the next video.